Today, we are lucky enough to fly on one of just 2 Austrian 787-9s in the world. Now, you can find these on the Chicago, Newark, Boston, IAD, and sometimes out of Montreal, but we're really lucky because this is absolutely the best way to fly Austrian Airlines Business Class, and I was really excited to check out the new LOT Business Class Lounge at O'Hare because it's actually very, very nice, which Terminal 5, if you have gone through there lately, absolutely atrocious outside of the LOT Business Class Lounge. And it was fantastic. It was everything you'd want it to be. Not overly large, but then again, you don't have that many flights that are departing out of 5. They're going to be going through this lounge because United operates out of the other terminals and has their fantastic Polaris lounges. So this is just a nice treat to be able to go through here. You can have a shower, nice buffet, a nice bar, good cocktails from what I understand, although I didn't have any. And the crowning achievement of this entire flight is that we booked this for just 70,000 Aeroplan miles. Now, when you're looking at it, the business class cabin is actually very small, just 26 seats, and we were able to get 2 of them. I chose on the window in the last 2 rows. Now, the Austrian Airlines 787-9 is going to feature this Collins Aerospace Super Diamond seat. As you can see, lots of storage, a nice lie flat bed, which we're going to get into a little bit more later into the review. One of my favorite business class seats because of all the storage. Remember, business class, you want to be able to store your things, you want to be able to work, and you want to be able to get a good night's sleep so you can hit the ground running. And as you can see here, as we have featured many times before on this channel, on this Collins Aerospace Super Diamond, lots of storage, and I think Austrian chose a nice configuration. It feels very new, feels very nice. Now, when I say new configuration, you can see little hints and differences when you compare it to sort of like the BA Club Suites, or you look at Egypt Air, which is really stripped down, American Airlines, which is very similar to this Austrian setup with the little cubby right there and the armrest, and then I personally think that the best option is on Etihad with the door. It just looks beautiful and fantastic. Let's hop onto the flight. Let's take off. Let's get up in the air. I was really excited. I've heard about this. This is my first time flying Austrian Airlines, that their catering is second to none. They feature Dough & Co. and I was really excited because they have a chef with the hats and everything come down the aisle. Before we actually get into the dining experience, we go through the amenities. Very standard, nothing fancy. And the bathroom was about the same size as you would have on a narrow body domestic cabin. So take that for what it's worth. Nothing super fancy there. The Wi-Fi, pretty good. I was able to connect. It worked throughout the flight. And as you can see, here is the price for all of those. I just went straight through with Apple Pay, paid for it, 25 euros. If you're going to try and work on the flight, I would say it was adequate. It wasn't super fast. It's not like the Starlink equipped flights. Let's get into this dining experience. I actually tried one of these Alm Doodlers. Alm Doodly Doo. It was delicious, sort of like a floral ginger ale. Now, as you can see, there was the chef coming down the aisle. My wife is asking for a little bite here to try it. I thought the food was very good. It didn't overly look that appealing to me. It looked fresh. I never have soup on flights, and that soup was fantastic. Everything that I have heard about Austrian Airlines Dough & Co., it absolutely hits. Now, the funny thing is that British Airways also uses Dough & Co., but I think that Austrian is another level above. So even though the caterer is the same, I think the food selections and perhaps even the food quality is better on Austrian. I tried to get some sleep. I don't know. The flight departed very early, but the food was too good. I said, you know what? For you guys, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to eat the entire experience. The pasta, it was not chewy. It was not doused in a bunch of sauce. It was just perfect. I don't know what to say. I mean, this was as good of a meal as I have had, I think, in a business class. This is on par with, say, Qatar Airways. I think it was on par or better than Emirates. It's better than any of the other domestic carriers. But as I mentioned before, business class, the food isn't really that important because what you want to be able to do is store your stuff, you want to be able to work, and you want to be able to actually rest. And I think that this footwell, perfectly adequate. The lie flat bed, pretty fine. I'm 6 feet, about 170 to 180 pounds is where I fluctuate. And as you can see, my head was about at the top. I'm not overly broad. I wear probably like between a 40 and a 42, and I was comfortable. This is pretty standard for this seat setup. So I've reiterated this on BA Club Suites and Egypt Air, etc., etc. And this was about the same. Now, one thing I would probably fault Austrian for, the online, the IFE, not really that strong. But then again, I'm from the States where you have American and United, and they have very strong selections of in-flight entertainment. This is more geared for that Austrian or that German audience, I think, with some Western titles. Now, what I'm basically saying here, because the audio is a little bit muted, I could not sleep. For whatever reason, I just did not sleep on the flight. The breakfast was good. I didn't expect it to be anything really worthy of waking up early for, but this was actually quite good. It was like a double combo of like a yogurt with like some baked bread and like some sweet apples. It was actually quite nice. And of course, I had a Coke, I had some coffee, etc., etc., etc. And as you're getting ready to land, they come by and they give you more chocolates, which if you're like me, I have a sweet tooth. I love this. Lufthansa does a similar thing, or Lufthansa, as a lot of people say. And if you can find one of these 787-9s to fly out of the cities that I mentioned before, I would highly recommend it. As always, God bless you. Have a great week. And don't forget to like, subscribe. And if you have any questions, drop in the comments below.